Bonsoir. Bienvenue à la séance du conseil municipal de la ville de Montréal-Ouest du 29 juin 2026. Good evening. Welcome to the Montreal-Ouest Town Council meeting of June 29, 2026. Ouverture de la séance.
Je propose d'ouvrir la séance.
Tous, is your mic working?
C'est bon? Je la seconde. Je m'excuse.
Merci. Tous en faveur? All in favor?
Oui.
Oui.
Donc, la séance est ouverte à 8h01. Adoption de l'ordre du jour.
Je propose d'adopter l'ordre du jour de la séance ordinaire du 29 juin 2026 tel que présenté.
Je l'appuie.
Tous en faveur? All in favor?
Oui.
Approbation des procès-verbaux.
Je propose, M. le maire, d'approuver les procès-verbaux des séances du conseil tenues aux dates suivantes. Séance ordinaire du 25 mai 2026, séance spéciale du 10 juin 2026.
Je l'appuie.
Tous en faveur? All in favor?
Oui.
Point 6, rapport du maire. Remplacement des conduites d'eau à Montréal. La Ville de Montréal a annoncé à la fin mai que plus d'1 million de Montréalais devront réduire leur consommation d'eau dans les prochaines semaines. Des conduites d'eau majeures doivent être réparées en urgence en juin et juillet. Le territoire de Montréal-Ouest fait partie du périmètre visé. Nous invitons donc les citoyens à réduire leur consommation d'eau cet été. Les recommandations et mesures ont été communiquées à la population et sont disponibles sur le site web de la Ville. Water main replacement in Montreal. The City of Montreal announced at the end of May that more than 1 million Montrealers will need to reduce their water consumption in the coming weeks. Major water mains require urgent repairs in June and July. The town of Montreal-West is within the affected area. We therefore encourage residents to reduce their water consumption this summer. Recommendations and measures have been communicated to the public and are available on the town's website. Investissement dans nos actifs, la reconstruction de la promenade Courtenay. Le conseil s'est engagé à investir chaque année dans la gestion de nos actifs, en particulier nos rues. Cette année, c'est la promenade Courtenay dans le secteur sud qui est en cours de reconstruction, des travaux d'envergure. Nous saluons la résilience des résidents affectés durant la durée du chantier. Nous continuerons de réparer les rues en 2026-27 en s'attaquant à d'autres tronçons dans les secteurs centre et nord de la ville. Nous étudions actuellement, plus en détail, les alternatives pour corriger notamment le chemin Ainsley et l'avenue Brock-North. Investment in our assets, reconstruction of Courtenay Drive. Council is committed to investing annually in the management of our assets, particularly the streets. This year, Courtenay Drive in the south end is undergoing a major reconstruction project. We commend the resilience of the affected residents throughout the construction period. We will continue to repair streets in 2026 and 2027, tackling other sections in the central and north ends of the town. We are currently studying in more details the alternative to correct, in particular Ainsley Road and Brock Avenue North. Inauguration des stations Bixi à Montréal-Ouest. Dans les prochaines semaines, nous procéderons à l'implantation de 3 stations Bixi sur le territoire de Montréal-Ouest. Le conseil d'administration et Bixi avons analysé une douzaine d'emplacements potentiels. Après plusieurs mois d'analyse technique, nous avons sélectionné 3 emplacements sous le principe de l'équité territoriale, de la fonctionnalité du réseau et de la proximité des générateurs de déplacement. Elles seraient situées l'une au parc Paul-Accordeau, desservant le secteur sud, la gare de train, le centre commercial, le cœur commercial, l'une sur le terrain Oxon, desservant le centre de la ville et le pôle d'activité du centre sportif et récréatif, et l'une au parc Rugby, desservant le secteur nord de la ville. La ville offrira ainsi prochainement une nouvelle option de mobilité durable pour de courts et longs déplacements. Inauguration of Bixi Station in Montreal-West. In the coming weeks, we will be installing 3 Bixi stations in Montreal-West. Council, administration, and Bixi analyzed a dozen potential locations. After several months of technical analysis, we selected 3 locations based on the principle of territorial equity, network functionality, and proximity to key destinations. One should be located at Paul Accordo Park, serving the southern sector, the train station, and the commercial core. One on Oxon Field, serving the town center and the activity hub of the sports and recreation center, and one in Rugby Park, serving the northern sector of the town. The town will soon offer new sustainable mobility option for short or long trips. Nettoyage du corridor ferroviaire. Après avoir procédé à un nettoyage des abords des voies ferrées à la fin mai, le Canadien Pacifique est retourné à notre demande le 26 juin pour retirer d'autres déchets et débris accumulés au fil des ans. Malheureusement, plusieurs résidents ont empêché les employés du CPKC d'effectuer leur travail. C'est une rare opportunité manquée d'améliorer la qualité de ce milieu. Nous demandons la collaboration des riverains pour maintenir la qualité de l'environnement et de retirer les objets et résidus accumulés au fil des ans sur la propriété du Canadien Pacifique. Rail Corridor Cleanup. After carrying out a cleanup of the area around the railway tracks at the end of May, the CPKC returned at a request on June 26 to remove more waste and debris accumulated over the years. Unfortunately, several residents prevented CPKC employees from doing their work. This is a rare missed opportunity to improve the area. We ask for the cooperation of residents to maintain the quality of the environment and to remove the objects and debris that have accumulated over the years on CPKC property. Première séance prometteuse pour les comités citoyens. Les 5 comités citoyens ont tenu leur première rencontre ce printemps. Nous sommes choyés de pouvoir compter sur autant de citoyens engagés aux expériences et expertises diversifiées pour nous aider à atteindre nos objectifs stratégiques. Les premières séances ont permis de présenter les termes, mandats, membres et priorités. Dès maintenant, les comités se penchent sur plusieurs dossiers pour faire des propositions et des recommandations au Conseil. Promising first meetings of Citizens Committee. The 5 Citizens Committee held their first meeting this spring. We are fortunate to have so many engaged citizens with diverse experience and expertise to help us achieve our strategic objective. These initial meetings allowed for the presentation of the terms, mandate, members, and priorities. The committees are now examining several issues to make proposals and recommendations to Council. Congrès de la Fédération canadienne des municipalités, le conseiller Nicolas Tassé et moi avons participé au 125e congrès annuel de la FCM à Edmonton, une occasion d'échanger avec des élus de partout au pays, de suivre des formations, de participer à des visites terrain avec des experts du milieu. Afin de nous alimenter dans la revitalisation de l'avenue Westminster, j'ai visité en compagnie de maires et d'élus locaux des quartiers en cours de revitalisation où design, densité et vie communautaire se côtoient et plusieurs rues principales dans les villes d'Edmonton, Stony Plain et St. Albert, Alberta. Federation of Canadian Municipality Congress, Councillor Tassé and I attended the FCM 125th Annual Congress in Edmonton, an opportunity to network with elected officials from across the country, participate in training sessions, and take part in site visits with experts in the field. To inform our approach to the revitalization of Westminster Avenue, I visited neighborhoods undergoing revitalization, accompanied by mayors and local elected officials. These neighborhoods showcase a blend of density, design, and community life. I also toured several main streets in the cities of Edmonton, Stony Plain, and St. Albert, Alberta. Rencontre et partenariat. Le 26 juin, la conseillère Slocum et moi avons le privilège de recevoir Gabrielle Rousseau-Bélanger, la responsable de l'environnement et de la transition écologique de la Ville de Montréal. Nous travaillons étroitement pour, d'une part, mieux connaître et reconnaître les qualités environnementales de la falaise dans la continuité de l'écoterritoire de la falaise Saint-Jacques, et d'autre part, pour redéfinir les limites de ce territoire pour permettre à Montréal-Ouest de développer un terrain en bordure de l'autoroute et ainsi d'augmenter nos revenus fonciers. Nous avons aussi exploré le corridor vert d'Hydro-Québec, un projet de design à plus long terme piloté par la Ville de Montréal. Une rencontre a aussi eu lieu avec la STM pour explorer les opportunités de taxis collectifs. Nous leur avons partagé les résultats du sondage et les besoins particuliers de Montréal-Ouest. À l'heure actuelle, la STM ne planifie pas une expansion de son service de taxi collectif, mais les résultats récoltés lui permettent de constater des lacunes dans l'offre de transport collectif. La STM étudiera notre demande, mais ne prévoit pas y répondre à court terme. Nous leur avons également fait la demande pour l'implantation d'abribus à certains arrêts. Ils étudieront la question et nous reviendrons avec des possibilités. Meetings and partnership. On June 26, Councillor Slocum and I had the privilege of welcoming the city's Montreal elected official responsible for environment and ecological transition. We are working closely together to better understand and recognize the environmental qualities of the escarpment within the Saint-Jacques Escarpment Eco-Territory, and to redefine its boundaries to allow Montreal-West to develop land along the highway and increase its property tax revenue. We also explored Hydro-Quebec's Green Corridor, a longer-term project led by the City of Montreal. A meeting was held with the STM to explore opportunities for a shared taxi bus service. We shared with them the survey results and the specific needs of Montreal-West. Currently, the STM is not planning to expand its shared bus service, but the survey results highlight gaps in the public transit offering. The STM will review our requests, but does not anticipate responding in the short term. We also requested the installation of bus shelters at certain stops. They will study the subject and get back to the town with the different possibilities. Activités communautaires et festivités pour conclure. Plusieurs activités phares ont lieu dans les dernières semaines, à commencer par le vente de garage et le festival communautaire de Montréal-Ouest. Une belle façon de rencontrer amis, voisins et résidents, de découvrir des talents musicaux et d'explorer notre ville et de prolonger la vie aussi de certains objets. Merci à tous pour votre participation et un merci spécial à Philippe Bergeron pour l'organisation de l'événement qui devient de plus en plus une tradition du printemps. Le 18 juin a eu lieu l'inauguration officielle de la nouvelle piscine municipale, une composante importante de notre centre sportif et récréatif. Nous sommes honorés d'avoir reçu la visite de la ministre du Sport, du Loisir et du Plein Air, Kariane Bourassa. Rappelons que le gouvernement du Québec a contribué significativement au financement du projet. Désiré McGrath, le conseil municipal, Colin Feeney, de nombreux employés, moniteurs et sauveteurs et invités étaient présents. Le centre a accueilli plusieurs centaines de personnes et a vraiment démontré toute sa polyvalence et sa capacité à rassembler toute la communauté. Merci à toutes les personnes ayant participé à cette soirée. Nous avons enfin célébré la fête nationale le 23 juin au centre sportif et récréatif et au terrain Oxon, avec notamment le spectacle de la chanteuse Junes. Cette année, le thème commémoratif des célébrations de la fête nationale était le 75e anniversaire de Guy Lafleur. À cette occasion, la Ville de Montréal-Ouest a organisé un match de hockey intergénérationnel. Le conseiller Tassé et moi avons joué, alors que les conseillères Slocum et Small Pennefather étaient les entraîneuses des deux équipes. Mercredi aura lieu la célèbre parade sur l'avenue Westminster et les festivités de la Fête du Canada au parc Strathern, dont le retour des feux d'artifice au terrain Hudson. So to conclude community activities and festivities, several key events have taken place recently, starting with the Montreal-Ouest Community Garage Sale and Garage Band Festival. What a wonderful way to meet friends, neighbors, and residents, discover musical talent, explore town, and give a second life to all sorts of items. A big thank you to all who participated, and a special thank you to Philippe Bergeron for organizing this event. On June 18, the official inauguration of the new municipal pool took place. We were honored to welcome the new Minister of Sport, Recreation and Outdoor Activities, Kariane Bourassa. It is worth noting that the government of Quebec made a significant contribution to the project funding. Désiré McGrath, Town Council, Colin Feeney, numerous employees, instructor, lifeguard, and guests were in attendance. The center truly demonstrated its versatility and its ability to bring the entire community together. We still celebrated also Quebec National Holiday on June 23rd, notably with a performance of Senior Junes. This year, the commemorative theme of the National Holiday celebration was the 75th anniversary of the birth of Guy Lafleur. To mark the occasion, the town of Montreal-West organized an intergenerational hockey game. Councillor Tassé and I played, while Councillors Slocum and Small Pennefather coached the two teams. Finally, the famous parade on Westminster Avenue and the Canada Day festivities at Stratton Park, including the return of the fireworks, will take place on Wednesday. Je vous souhaite à tous une très belle fête du Canada, un bel été et de très belles vacances. I wish you all a very happy Canada Day, wonderful summer, and a very nice vacation. Poursuivons maintenant avec le rapport du maire sur la situation financière de la ville. Conformément à l'article 105.2.2 de la loi sur les cités et villes, le maire a l'obligation de présenter, lors d'une séance ordinaire du conseil tenue au plus tard en septembre, le rapport du maire sur les faits saillants du rapport financier de la ville. Je vais laisser le soin à la conseillère responsable des finances, Lauren Small Pennefather, de le présenter. In accordance with the Cities and Towns Act, the mayor is required to present at a regular council meeting held no later than September the mayor's report on the highlights of the town financial report. I will leave it to councillor responsible for finance, Lauren Small Pennefather, to present it.
Merci, Monsieur le Maire. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I will be giving the report fully in both English and French. I will try to be succinct in my comments, but we have some interesting information to share with regards to our year fiscal ending for December 31st, 2025. As presented at council meeting on June 29th, 2026, the external auditor, Danielle Tétrault, CPA Inc., issued without reserve, meaning that the financial statements present in all respects were presented in a true and fair view of the financial position of the town of Montreal-West. You may have noticed that we were presenting the report in June instead of in May. This is due to the election year. We adopted the town budget in January of 2026 instead of December 2025. If you recall, municipalities must present a balanced budget where revenues offset expenses. The results show an operating surplus of $4,236,447. Here are some of the highlights. $3.4 million in revenue from land sales. Obviously, this is something that we don't get to do very often in the town, but we were able to get some significant amounts from the sale of land in the town. $480,000 in transfer taxes, $150,000 in additional recycling grants related to the ice storm and for charging stations, $119,000 in higher recreation revenue due to higher than expected enrollment in day camps, aquatic programs, and programs for youth and adults, $100,000 in interest revenue, and $85,000 in fines issued by the SPVM in the town. This represents a significant increase by the SPVM in our territory to issue fines for people who are in contravention of the vehicular code. Operating expenses and total allocations for capital projects exceeded the budget by $70,000. The town achieved savings of $534,000 across various departments and $596,000 in debt repayment and interest paid. However, these savings were used to fund capital projects including $550,000 for the construction of the Recreation and Sports Center, $251,000 in capital expenditures, and $393,000 for the early repayment of working capital. Capital investments in infrastructure totaled $12.2 million, which included construction, architectural and consulting fees for the new Sports and Recreation Center in the amount of $10.2 million, $981,000 for buildings, $440,000 for vehicles, $415,000 for road infrastructure, and $216,000 for furniture and equipment. At the year end, the town's debt was $21.4 million compared to $17.3 million in 2024. Our earmarked operating surplus is $5.4 million, while our earmarked surplus is $330,000 on our working capital stands at $1.4 million. We are pleased with the excellent results of the 2025 financial statements and express our appreciation to our town treasurer, Valentina Taran, and all the directors for their judicious management of the town finances. You can find full details of the financial results on the town's website. Maintenant en français. Ce rapport et résumé de l'exercice financier se termine le 31 décembre 2025, tel que présenté lors de séance du conseil 29 juin 2026. Le vérificateur externe, la firme Daniel Tétrault, CPA Inc., a émis une opinion sans réserve. Ce signifie que les états financiers donnent dans tous les aspects significatifs une image fidèle de la situation financière de la ville de Montréal-Ouest. Vous avez peut-être remarqué que nous présentons ce rapport en juin plutôt qu'en mai. Cela s'explique par le fait que cette année électorale, nous avons adopté le budget de la ville en janvier 2026 au lieu de décembre 2025. Les résultats montrent un excédent de fonctionnement de 4 236 447 $. Voici quelques-uns des points saillants. 3,4 millions revenus provenant des opérations de vente des terrains. Donc, cette année, on a vraiment une augmentation par rapport à des ventes de terrains qui est un exemple très rare à la ville quand il y a des terrains à vendre. 480 000 liés aux droits de mutation, 150 000 $ de subventions supplémentaires pour le recyclage lié à la tempête de la verglas et pour les bons de recharge. 119 000 revenus de loisirs supérieurs grâce à l'inscription plus élevée que prévu au camp de jour et à la programmation aquatique et au programme pour les jeunes et les adultes. 100 000 revenus d'intérêt et 85 000 contraventions émises par la SPVM et la Ville. On a beaucoup d'augmentation à la présence de la SPVM sur notre territoire qui donne des amendes par rapport au code véhicule. Les dépenses de fonctionnement ainsi que l'affectation des activités d'investissement totales étaient 70 000 $ au-delà de le budget. La Ville a réalisé ses économies de 534 000 $ dans divers départements de 596 000 sur les remboursements de la dette et intérêts payés. Cependant, ces économies ont été utilisées pour financer des activités d'investissement, notamment 557 000 pour la construction de centres récréatifs et sportifs, 251 000 en dépenses en capital et 393 000 pour le remboursement anticipé de fonds de roulement. Les investissements et immobilisations dans les infrastructures ont totalisé 12,2 millions, ce qui comprennent les frais de construction, d'architecture et de consultants pour le nouveau centre sportif et récréatif. Ça vaut 10,2 millions $, 991 000 pour les bâtiments, 440 000 pour les véhicules, 415 000 pour les infrastructures routières et 216 000 pour l'ameublement et équipement. À la fin de l'année, la dette nette de la Ville s'élève à 21,4 millions par rapport de 17,3 millions en 2024. Nos surplus de fonctionnement non affectés sont de 5,4 millions, alors que nos surplus affectés sont de 330 000 à notre fonds de roulement s'élève à 1,4 million. Nous nous réjouissons des excellents résultats des comptes annuels 2025 en tenant à remercier notre trésorière Valentina Tedoran ainsi que l'ensemble des conseillères municipales pour leur gestion avisée, des directeurs de municipalité pour leur gestion avisée des finances de la Ville. Vous trouverez tous les détails des résultats financiers sur le site web de la Ville. Merci beaucoup. I know it's a lot with the numbers. I appreciate your time and your patience, but these obviously are the pillars of our town and the sound financial management that we exercise on a daily basis. Thank you. Merci.
Attendu que l'article 105.2.2 de la loi sur les villes et les municipalités exige que le rapport du maire sur la situation financière de la ville soit diffusé sur le territoire de la municipalité de la manière déterminée par le conseil. En conséquence, je propose que le rapport du maire sur la situation financière de la ville soit publié sur le site Internet du journal The Informer et sur le site web de la Ville.
Je l'appuie.
Tous en faveur, en favor?
Oui.
Point numéro 7, rapport des conseillers. Siège numéro 4, conseiller Philippe Bergeron, concernant les activités relevant de son portefeuille en mobilité durable et sport.
Bonjour, chers voisins de Montréal-Ouest. A new town alert system called Blanco is now being offered to residents. Multiple emails have been sent inviting residents to register, and a total of 500 people signed up in the first 3 weeks. Thank you. A letter will be mailed to every Montreal-West household as a reminder to register. Please do sign up to stay informed during emergency situations. The conformity and safety work at the Westminster level crossing is unfortunately delayed due to a strike in the Signalization and Communication Department of CPKC. The work originally scheduled to begin in early July will be postponed to a future date. Unfortunately, this is completely out of our control. On that note, our PSOs have completed their traffic studies on Brock North and Curzon in order to gather as much data as possible before the reconfiguration changes at the level crossing take effect. Should traffic issues arise on these residential streets following the work, the data will help the town make necessary adjustments. We know it is tempting to continue enjoying our parks on warm summer evenings. Just make sure to wrap things up before 10 p.m. curfew. As per our bylaws, Montreal-West parks are closed between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. This is a gentle reminder so that our neighborhood remains peaceful and enjoyable after dark, as many residents live in very close proximity to our parks. Please note that failure to comply can result in a significant fine, which could certainly put a damper on your day in the park. Nous avons émis une tolérance de stationnement de nuit du 23 juin au 2 juillet pour accommoder les résidents et leurs invités. There is a new bylaw amendment for parking on Nelson Street. There will be no parking from Bedbrook until 64 Nelson, and no parking from Strathern to Westminster during the summer months. There will continue to be no parking during the winter months due to snow clearing. And between Percival and all the way to Strathern, there will be some parking. Well, from 64 Nelson all the way to Strathern, parking will be permitted during the summer months. Sorry for that misadjustment. On the sports and recreation front, summer camp and pool activities are now in full swings as of this week. Good luck to our wonderful camp counselors and lifeguards. Ajout d'une option multipasse pour des activités ponctuelles du gymnase permettant d'acheter à l'avance plusieurs séances à un tarif réduit. Le nouvel horaire estival de la piscine est disponible sur le site Internet. Les nouveaux horaires estivaux de patinage libre, de patinage artistique libre et de hockey libre sont également disponibles sur le site Internet de la Ville. Upcoming sporting events, Tuesday, June 30th, tomorrow, the Montreal-Ouest Aquatic Club, MWAC, is hosting its first swim meet in over 2 years. Hundreds of neighborhood kids will be competing against our friendly rivals, the Beacon Heights Swim Club. Everyone is welcome to come out and cheer our local athletes. Food and drinks will be available for purchase. Just a reminder, due to the Montreal-Ouest swim competition, the pool will be closed from 6 to 10 p.m. tomorrow night, June 30th. Also, sporting event, Canada Day, July 1st, there's a soccer fest from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Royal West Academy. It's a round robin for all ages. Please sign up on Amelia. Everybody have a wonderful summer, everyone. And here to serve, Phil Bergeron.
Thank you very much, Phil Bergeron. Now reporting from seat number 1, Lawrence Small-Pennefater, sur les activités relevant de son portefeuille de finances et bilinguisme.
Okay, merci, Monsieur le maire. Merci tout le monde d'être venu ce soir. Good evening, everybody. It's nice to see you here this evening. It's hard to believe that a week ago today, the city of Montreal was under siege. Working with the SPVM and first responders for many years, I want to offer my sincere sympathies to the family, friends, and colleagues of Constable Mohamed Lamine Ben-Ridouan, who lost his life, as well as to the family, friends, and colleagues to Michel Mizrahi, a civilian who also lost his life. We wish continued healing to the community and to the officer that was injured. Ayant collaboré pendant de nombreuses années avec les SPVM et les premiers intervenants, je tiens à adresser mes sincères condoléances à la famille et aux amis, aux collègues de l'agent Mohamed Lamine Bediron, qui a perdu la vie, ainsi que la famille, aux amis, aux collègues de Michel Mizrahi, un civil qui a également perdu la vie. Nous souhaitons un prompt rétablissement à la communauté et l'agent qui a été blessé. Our first financial planning committee meeting took place on June 1st. The town has a tremendous swath of talent of residents who will be providing input to the next strategic financial plan, as well as to looking at ways to increase revenue streams for the town. The next meeting will take place in the fall. La première réunion de notre comité de planification financière s'est tenue le 1er juin. La ville dispose d'un formidable vivier de talents parmi ses résidents qui apporteront leur contribution d'élaboration au prochain plan financier stratégique et réfléchiront aux moyens d'accroître les sources de recettes de la ville. La prochaine réunion aura lieu à l'automne. I've been in contact with Canada Post to ensure we can have continuity of service to receive pickup of mail and packages following the closure of Bunning Pharmacy after having served the town for 70 years. Thank you for being part of our community. Pleased to report that the friendly Bunning staff is now part of the Pharma-Pre team. With the upcoming provincial election, we will be closely monitoring platforms in terms of support to municipalities and infrastructure, as well as any potential impact to our bilingualism status. À l'approche des élections provinciales, nous suivrons près des programmes électoraux en ce qui concerne le soutien aux communes et les infrastructures, ainsi que tout l'impact potentiel sur notre statut de bilinguisme. As we are preparing for grants in the fall, I continue to work with a number of organizations in the town, including the Informer, Montreal-West Public Library, and of course other organizations such as the Rotary Club that have had a significant collaboration with our town for many, many years. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish everybody to have a safe and restful summer. Merci, thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Small-Pennefater. Maintenant, rapportant du siège numéro 2, Martha Slocum, sur les activités relevant de son portefeuille en transition écologique, urbanisme et participation citoyenne.
Good evening, and thank you for being here. Bonsoir à tous, et merci d'être parmi nous. To date this year, the Planning Advisory Committee has considered 66 files. Of those, it has recommended approval of 35.5, approval with conditions for 20.5, deferred 7.5, and recommended rejection in only 3.5 cases. The summer PAC meetings will take place on July 22nd and August 12th. As a reminder, please ensure files are submitted at least 2 weeks in advance so they can be properly reviewed. PAC mandates are up for renewal, which will be done at the August council meeting. Based on member turnover, we will have 2 openings to serve on the Planning Advisory Committee. PAC members are appointed for their ability to provide thoughtful, independent advice on planning and design matters affecting the municipality. While professional experience in planning, architecture, or related fields is considered an asset, it is not required. Members are expected to demonstrate an interest in local development, good judgment, openness to collaboration, and a willingness to review files in advance and participate in respectful, impartial discussions in the public interest. Applications will be accepted through the town website, and I encourage anyone interested or anyone who knows someone who might be a good fit to consider applying. The deadline to apply is the end of August. C'est une belle façon de s'impliquer dans notre communauté. I'd also like to highlight this year's Green Patrol. We have two employees who will be out and about in the community all summer, supporting environmental initiatives and leading activities at day camp. They'll also be visiting campers with fun, hands-on programming. If you see them around town, n'hésitez pas à leur dire bonjour. They'll be easy to spot in their green t-shirts. As mentioned by the mayor, the City of Montreal has asked residents across the island, including here in Montreal, to voluntarily reduce water consumption this summer. This is not due to a shortage, but to temporary capacity limits while major repairs are underway on key drinking water infrastructure. Practical tips for reducing water consumption are on the town's website. We recently held our first youth focus group, and I want to thank the young people who came out and shared their ideas. Council genuinely appreciated the input, especially the strong interest in volleyball and the insights on meeting youth where they are. Merci à tous ceux et celles qui ont participé. We're looking forward to continuing this conversation and implementing your recommendations, and we hope to plan another session for the fall. This year's Saint Jean celebrations included an intergenerational hockey game, which was a real highlight. The mayor and Councillor Tassé took to the ice while Councillor Small-Pennefather and I were behind the bench. It was wonderful to see participants of all ages out on the ice together, including our lone female player who represented women like a pro. We're officially putting out a call for reinforcements for the next match. Looking ahead, we're excited for this year's Canada Day celebrations. The traditional parade will take place at 3:30 along Westminster, leading to festivities at Strathern Park at 4, with fireworks returning this year at the field by the Recreation Centre at 9:45. On espère vous y voir en grand nombre. The town summer series of Tuesday evening events at Paula Corridor Park begins July 7th with a Lakeshore Concert Band and July 14th with a dance show by Veils of Bollywood. The full schedule is available online and through the e-bulletin. These are fantastic family-friendly evenings. Finally, on the eve of our first heat wave of the summer, I want to remind everyone that the Recreation Center is air-conditioned and open to the public from 7:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. during heat waves. With a hot summer ahead, it's a great place to drop in if you need a break from the heat. Residents can also cool off at the municipal pool and in our splash pads. Find the hours on our website. Merci beaucoup et je vous souhaite un très bel été.
Thank you, Councillor Slocum. Now reporting from C3, Nicolas Tassé, sur les activités relevant de son portefeuille en gestion des actifs et développement économique.
Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir tout le monde. Earlier this month, I had the privilege of attending the Federation of Canadian Municipalities annual conference in Edmonton along with the mayor. The conference brought together municipal elected officials, administrators, and industry professionals from across Canada to discuss the opportunities and challenges facing municipalities of all sizes. Throughout this conference, I attended sessions on infrastructure renewal, housing, and economic development. I also took part in a walking tour of Edmonton's downtown redevelopment projects, where we saw how investment in public spaces, transportation, infrastructure, and commercial districts have helped transform key areas of that city. I returned with some interesting ideas that I hope will contribute to our ongoing work to improve our community. Back on the home front, public works crews and contractors continue to make steady progress on a number of important projects throughout town. Some of you may have noticed several sinkholes in town. They have been prioritized for repair, and work has started on the most severe ones in recent weeks. We understand these repairs can be, can temporarily affect traffic and pedestrian circulation, but this is essential work that helps to avoid more significant infrastructure failures. Work also continues on the Courtney Drive reconstruction project. This major investment includes the complete replacement of aging water and sewer infrastructure, as well as the reconstruction of the roadway and sidewalks. Projects of this scale inevitably create inconvenience for nearby residents. Road closures, detours, construction noise, and temporary disruptions to parking are never enjoyable, but much of the infrastructure beneath our streets has reached a point where renewal is no longer optional. Municipal officials and workers are often criticized when infrastructures fail, but at the same time, the work required to prevent those failures can also be unpopular, as they call inconveniences to our daily routines. The reality is that the choice is rarely between construction and no construction. It's between planned renewal today or emergency repairs tomorrow. By making these investments now, we are reducing the likelihood of costly failures in the future. We are also providing residents with reliable underground services, safer roads, and improved public infrastructure that will serve our community for decades to come. I sincerely thank residents for their patience and understanding as this important work continues. More patience will also be needed by all residents as we work with the builders of the Easton project while they put their final layer of asphalt on the area of Westminster and Avon, just over here, in the coming weeks. And even more will be needed as we work towards finalizing plans and receiving tender offers for the repavement of Ainsley, as well as the removal of the aging play structure at Roy D. Locke Park that was recently closed for safety reasons. It's always disappointing to lose a familiar asset such as the park, but public safety remains our priority, and we will continue discussing options for this park in the future. The Westminster Revitalization Committee held its inaugural meeting on May 26th. Members had the opportunity to meet one another and begin preliminary discussions on the future of our commercial district. Conversations ranged from infrastructure and bylaws to attracting new business, beautification initiatives, community events, and ideas to further strengthen Westminster as the commercial heart of Montreal-West. I am excited to see what ideas emerge over the coming months as we work together to build an even stronger business community. On a more reflective note, I'd like to recognize the closing of Bunning Pharmacy after more than 70 years of service to our community. For generations, the Bunning family provided not only professional pharmacy services, but also the kind of personal, neighborly care that has become synonymous with our town. Their longstanding commitment to residents reminds us of the important role local independent businesses play in preserving the character of our town. On behalf of Council, I'd like to extend my sincere thanks to the Bunning family and their staff for their many decades of dedicated service to our community. We wish them nothing but success and happiness in the future. I look forward to seeing you all at Canada Day celebrations this Wednesday, and thank you so much, and enjoy your summer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Tassé. Nous en sommes maintenant à la première période de questions du public. La première période de questions provenant de la salle est d'une durée de 25 minutes. Les citoyens peuvent présenter un court préambule, poser une question principale et au besoin une question de suivi. Nous limitons à 2 questions par personne. Nous vous rappelons que ce n'est pas une période de débat. Nous enchaînerons ensuite avec les questions des résidents soumises en ligne. Les mêmes règles s'appliquent. Lors de la deuxième période de questions, nous répondrons aux questions relatives à l'ordre du jour. La durée sera limitée à 10 minutes en salle et 10 minutes en ligne. So the first question period from the floor will last 25 minutes. Citizens may present a short preamble, ask a main question, and, if necessary, a follow-up question. We are limiting this to 2 questions per person, and we will remind you that this is not a debate period. We will then proceed with questions submitted online by residents. The same rules apply. During the second question period, we will answer questions pertaining to the agenda. This will be limited to 10 minutes from the floor and 10 minutes online. Donc, à 8h38, nous commençons la période de questions.
So I want to make sure it works for people at home. Good evening, Mayor Cha and members of council. My name is Mr. Carney. I've been resident for 43 years. Watching this administration leaves me with one question. I am not sure yet whether last fall we elected troubleshooters or troublemakers. From the responses I received to face-to-face at Rugby Park, I am closer to the answer. Had you used basic common sense instead of hiding behind divisive, rigid rules, your lack of flexibility wouldn't have been a routine safety issue into a public relations nightmare. I will read both questions together. Mr. Shah, at Rugby Park, you dismiss a hazardous canopy encroaching on my building as an operational matter. Mr. Mayor, it appears that you are attempting to steer our small community like a faceless big metropolis where we are officially treated as numbers and not people. By washing your hands of this roadblock, do you personally assume full civil and financial liability for severe personal injury from falling limbs, striking a person using my lawn, my walkway, or for structural damage to my building and my tenant's vehicle this summer? Councillor Slocum, your official title is Councillor for Citizen Participation. yet you are actively backing this cold big city approach created and implemented by your patronizing, unattached bureaucrat that strips residents of their involvement during safety inspections. Your email instructs me to file an access to information request. Yet your department hides the arborist schedule and refuses to notify me when it is received. You have created a deliberate catch-22 where a resident cannot request a document because you hide the timeline of its existence. Why are you using these administrative barriers to block transparency instead of fulfilling your elected role to step in and solve a broken policy that compromises neighborhood safety? I am physically depositing a signed, completed transcript of my statement and questions with the town clerk right now to ensure my exact wording is entered in full into the permanent public record.
Hi, I'm Andrew from 37.
Oh,
sorry, my bad.
so,
Hi,
if you
Mr.
wanna
Carney.
reply,
I'd like to reply.
I'll try to listen, but I'll listen at home because I'm missing a hearing piece.
Okay. Thank you for coming and thank you for asking your question. I understand your frustration, but truly our policy is in an effort to maintain, to ensure that everybody is given the same treatment and to ensure that the process is consistent. So we do have policies in place to make sure that we are consistent, equitable, and that to ensure sound management as well. The town has an up-to-date inventory of all of its public trees, which are assessed on a regular basis to help us develop a long-term maintenance plan. And additional inspections are carried out as needed. I do understand your frustration. However, we have to make sure that everybody is treated the same. Thank you.
Well, from what I understand, you didn't answer half my questions. But I'll go home and I'll listen to the YouTube version, so I'll have a better understanding of what you just said.
Hi, I live on.
Sorry, just say your name and your address, please.
I was just about to say that. I'm Andrew, 37 Ballantyne South. We have an issue with drug addicts in this town. I spoke to you. I spoke to the former mayor. I spoke to the mayor candidate. Spoke to Nick about it, I've been living here since 1981. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff here. But the blatant use of drugs in the public, and it's nothing against public security. I've spoken to them very nicely. They gave me good advice. I spoke to the cops. They gave me some good advice. Could we please pass a bylaw where it says you cannot consume legal drugs outside of your premises? I find it interesting that I heard someone here say, oh, you can't hang out in the park after 10 p.m. till 7 a.m. I'm living with drug addicts that are smoking pot from 6 a.m. to 1 in the morning. That is not normal behavior. That is a drug addict. I don't care if marijuana is legal. You can't drink alcohol and beers out in the street all day. So why are we allowing drug addicts where kids are on the street? Okay? Do you want me to get a petition? Why do we have to go through nonsense? So I actually spoke to a couple of you about this drug issue, and nothing has been done. So I would just like some, willingness to change the bylaw that just says you cannot consume legal drugs in public. I'm not asking for much. And if you want video evidence, pictures, I have it. If you want testimony from neighbors, you can have it. If you want me to make a documentary and a video about them, interview the neighbors in the neighborhood, I can do that too. So is that unreasonable to change the bylaw? That's all I want to know.
Hi, Andrew. My name is Phil, and I'm responsible for safety and mobility, sustainable mobility. This is the first time I hear about this. We haven't spoken, so I'm a little taken aback by the amount of drugs that somebody's smoking beside your house. I don't know. I don't know what we can do. I'll have to bring it back to caucus, and we'll have to debate on it and see if there's anything legal that we can do. But at the present moment,
Well, why can't we just do like Hampstead, where they just say you can't smoke cigarettes? Like, again, like I said,
it's
like
possible.
for me, it's at people's discretion. You put a thing, you can't do drugs. Someone smokes a spliff here and there, I don't care. But when someone's doing it excessively, it's too much.
No, I agree.
It's too much.
It's just I don't have the answer to tell you what we can or cannot do at the present moment, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible.
And how are you going to get back to me?
I'll ring your doorbell and I'll speak to you.
Perfect. Because we spoke.
Not me.
The one next to the mayor.
Okay.
She came to my door, and I told you about that.
Yeah.
So, just saying, it's been brought up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Mark Lieberg, 61 Nelson. I'm glad to hear we have the beginning of a resolution of our parking issues. So Phil, are we talking from the corner up until the driveway of 64 Nelson would be prohibited?
Yeah, so from Bedbrook to 64 Nelson, that's to the driveway, and that's no parking, and then parking's permitted from 64 Nelson all the way down to Strathern.
Okay, right.
Is parking permitted, and then from Strathern to Westminster, there will be no parking.
Okay, and that, why from Strathern to Westminster are we prohibiting parking?
Those residents had all come up to us. They actually made a petition.
Okay.
They're having their own issues, so
People turning from Westminster. And why are we making this seasonal? What is it? Currently, whenever there's a snow clearing operation, there's no parking on Nelson from Bedbrook to Westminster for the 4 or 5 days it takes, and we accept that. But why are we restricting it for the whole season? I don't understand the reasoning for that.
That's the current legal bylaw, so that you're not allowed to park in the winter at Nelson. Isn't that?
We've always been able to. We've only been prohibited during the snow clearing operation, the 4 or 5 days it takes to clear the whole town with all the trucks back and forth, and that's fine. But once the snow clearing operation is finished, we go back to normal parking.
On that point, we'll clarify. I wasn't aware that there was legal parking on Nelson during the winter months.
Totally.
I just thought there was.
It was only during the orange signs would go up when there was a snow clearing operation.
I understand that.
Not just to clear the street, but for the whole town, and that was fine. Yeah. So when will this take effect? When can we park outside our house?
So next special council meeting should be, that's, Mark, it will be sometime in July, then we'll have to get the bylaw, and then suggested, then we'll put the signs up.
Okay, and if you can just clarify the winter stuff, that'd be great, but.
I'll clarify the winter stuff.
Thank you to everybody, we really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Any other questions from the floor? Non? OK, donc on va aller aux questions en ligne. So we have about 20 questions online. So the first question is from Julie Waters, 235 Percival Avenue.
What help is set up for town residents impacted by weather events such as the recent flooding? How do people reach out for help with possible heat waves, power outages, and other emergencies that crop up, especially if they are not handy with a smartphone? Hi, Julie. The town is setting up a new alert system called Blanco, and I invite you to register. In the event of an emergency, the system will send you an alert via text or email. It's always good to have a family member, a trusted friend, or a neighbor as a support system for non-life-threatening situations. If you need assistance, you can always contact the town through the public security offices at dispatch. Dispatch is 514-630-1234. Our PSOs will assist you to the best of their abilities and within their jurisdiction. And in case of a life-threatening emergency, please call 911.
Thank you. Next question from Francis Opolko, 191 Wolseley Avenue North.
The pothole situation is extreme, especially on Wolsey North and Brock North. When will the town post a list of road repair dates? We are well aware of the situation on Wolsey, Brock, and a whole bunch of other roads in the town. For the time being, pothole repair will continue throughout the season. There's no list of repair dates. Work will progress according to manpower, urgency, and weather. We are working closely with town management to do as much as possible with the resources we have. And council will be discussing the potential of having a list available to residents in the future.
Thank you. Next one from Sean Coleman, 68 Wolseley Avenue North.
I play hockey at the new arena. There seems to be insufficient parking. Players in our league regularly spend time circling surrounding streets before parking blocks away and walking over. It's not too problematic for adults in the summer, but I'm concerned for the wintertime when temperatures are low and parking may be further limited due to snow. Is the expectation for a young family to drop off the children off at the rink, then drive home to park and then walk back? Are there plans to accommodate more parking at our towners for out-of-towners near the rink? There are no immediate plans to increase parking at the new rec center due to the limited space. The number of parking spots in the winter will not decrease due to snow, as our Public Works Department will always clean the parking lot and surrounding streets first. In addition, parking may be easier in the winter as the pool and tennis activities are no longer in progress.
Thank you. Next one from James Brodden, 38 Brock South.
Will Montreal-West continue to repave any streets after the work on Courtney is complete? If so, can we see the list of streets in order of priority? I ask because our street is obviously in bad shape. Beyond the layers of patches applied over 20 years I've lived here, we've had 2 sinkholes repaired since our street, and only our street was flooded by a broken water pipe in 2023. The town will continue to repair streets and repave when possible. As stated in previous council meetings, we tend to prioritize based on the need for sewage and water infrastructure needs so that we can maximize the funding obtained to get the roads fully renewed. The list of priorities is currently being reviewed, as stated in the last question, and it is continuously evolving, and we hope that we have some news on that front later on. Thank you.
Thank you. La prochaine question de Kevin Dewick, 123 Westminster Nord.
Bonsoir à tous. J'ai eu la chance de profiter de la piscine avec mon petit garçon. Il s'est beaucoup amusé. Les installations sont vraiment superbes. Toutefois, dans le coin famille, seuls 2 parasols sont installés, ce qui fait que tous les parents et familles sont entassés au même endroit, ce qui rend l'expérience désagréable pour les parents. Est-il prévu d'installer au moins 1 ou 2 parasols supplémentaires pour le bien de tous? Vous en remerciant par avance, Kevin. Pour l'instant, Kevin, aucun ajout n'est prévu, mais c'est une question que nous pourrons examiner à l'avenir afin d'envisager d'éventuelles solutions temporaires ou définitives.
Merci. Prochaine question de Scott Miller, 65 Brock North.
Council is already aware of the large number of pedestrians who use the walking path through Paula Cordo Park that ends at Ainsley, close to but not at the crosswalk at Strathern. Would council consider enlarging the crosswalk paint so that it reaches the end of the path to create a large pedestrian crossing zone? This measure could help safety concerns by calming excessive speeding and might reduce the number of cars. Mr. Miller, I'm not particularly understand your question. We debated it, so I may come at your house and to ask you to get more information. But the street parking on municipal the street painting on municipal streets has already been completed. That being said, I'll look into it and I'll get back to you.
Okay, thank you. Next question from Rebecca Vandeles, 73 Stratton North.
Hello, there is a large amount of garbage, mattresses, etc. outside on the empty lot of Strathern near Milner. When will this be cleaned up? It's been there for a while. Could the offenders be fined? We are aware of the situation. It stems from 50 Westminster North, we believe, and we're going to have someone follow up and see what can be done about that.
Thank you. Next one from Susan Sizik, 153 Stratton North.
Hello, and thank you for considering my 2 questions. Can the town please advise on how many trees have been cut down over the course of the last 3 years on what is considered town property, not resident private property, versus how many have been replaced, replanted? My second question is, does the town have a plan in place regarding the replanting of the trees that have been removed? Lastly, we'd like to acknowledge our impressive and hardworking public works crews. They're always exceptionally polite, work in all kinds of unpleasant weather, and are most willing to respond to requests. So the information we shows that since June 2023, 124 trees have been removed, while 202 trees have been planted, though not necessarily in the exact same spots that they were cut down from. Replanting takes longer than desired as the stump removal process has a very long backlog, and ideally you want to wait 2 years for decomposition of the remaining roots. In the future, stump removal will be going deeper to allow for a quicker replanting turnover, and we appreciate the kind words for our public works boys. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next one from Andy Malolewski, 321 Brock Avenue North.
Could the town website regarding recreation and day camps be made easier to navigate with so many menus and different services? Perhaps they could be better segmented. I would be open to provide suggestions. The Recreation Department is currently undertaking a reflection on the structure of the registration page to make it easier and end user experience. You can reach out to them directly with ideas.
Thank you. Next one from Cynthia Kumas, 443 Westminster Avenue North.
Several years ago, I requested that Quebec and Canadian flags be displayed on Westminster north of the hump as they were being displayed south of the hump. The following year, they were put up. The next year, no. They have not flown in 2 years. I feel as citizen of Montreal-West that this side of Westminster should be treated with the same consideration as the south. When are we going to see the flags flying? So when we were doing installation, apparently many of the flags were damaged, or the poles holding them up were damaged, and we're going to be making arrangements to have sufficient flags next year.
Thank you. Next one from Susan Gutman, 76 Percival Avenue.
Given the amount of food restaurants who do takeout now open on Westminster, what is the plan for managing garbage? So we recognize the increase of restaurants in the neighborhood, and I hope for more business activity in the heart of town to make it more enjoyable for everyone. And on that note, we'll keep an eye out on the situation and discuss alternatives to keep the area more welcoming to residents.
Thank you. Next one from Robert Barnes, 227 Bedbrook Avenue.
Oh, well, I feel that me and Nick are monopolized this whole time. I think some of these questions should be targeted to our friends, Mrs. Pennyfather and Slocum. But regardless, here it is. Oh. Well, thank you, Mark. Greatly appreciate it. So, Robert Barnes, it has not taken long for the ice rink surface to deteriorate in quality and change color right by the Zamboni door. My guess is the tires pick up dirt and debris when the resurfacer is driven outside the dump to dump its snow. What alternatives can be considered implemented to avoid ongoing soiling of this beautiful new facility? Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Barnes, for your question. The answer is there is no alternative but to dump the snow outside. The leisure team has recently implemented certain measures to mitigate this risk, such as cleaning the ground leading to the dumping area and installing tire washing system on the Zamboni itself. But it'll take some time for the residual dirt to be removed through the regular leveling and resurfacing of the ice.
Thank you. Next one from Marian Lennon, 143 Bedbrook Avenue.
Are you ever going to remove the orange cones in George Booth Park, which have been there for months? Thanks. Marion, we'll have someone go take a look and take them out.
Thank you. 2 questions now from Paul Kenton, 70 Brock Avenue North.
Question number 1. It was mentioned at a council meeting pre-pandemic to the effect that a town couldn't fine someone repeatedly for a bylaw infraction, as this would constitute a harassment. What is the number of times per year that the town can fine a resident for the same infraction? There is no maximum number of times that a resident can receive an infraction, and if it was done, if anything was speculated or spoke before pre-pandemic, I wasn't part of my time, so I wouldn't be able to comment on what was said then.
Question number 2. In the capital budget for 2027, there is a $1 million allocation for reconfiguring the Avon Ronald Milton interchange. Is it really necessary to spend this huge sum of money? I'm not sure if this is on. For something that works as well as it is. Thank you for your second question, Mr. Kenton. And yes, we had identified in our PTI for 2027. That's our plan d'investissement. It's a $1 million allocation. It doesn't mean that we're going to spend $1 million in terms of that configuration, and there may be more efficient or effective ways that we can look at Avon, Ronald, and Milton for additional sources of revenue for the town. So that's why we've earmarked it, but it certainly does not mean that we will spend it. And as we get to the end of this year, of this calendar year for 2026, we'll be looking again on how we're going to be allocating budget for 2027. Thank you for your question.
Thank you. Next one from Mark Johnson, 35 Campbell Avenue.
I would like to know if there are plans to address the terrible surface condition of Ainsley. While a few significant potholes have indeed been filled, there remain an excessive amount that continue to deteriorate, making it difficult for both motorists and cyclists to navigate the road. The road condition is so bad now, I fear the standard approach of filling random potholes will be insufficient to maintain a reasonable surface. Regards, Mark. So the studies of the subgrade have been completed. The results weren't quite what we were hoping for, so the scale of the project has significantly increased. The contract will be going out to tender shortly, and we ask that you guys remain patient while the process runs its course. In the meantime, we'll patch the most dangerous ones until such time that the work can begin.
Thank you. Next from Karen Donnelly, 195 Wolseley North.
Traffic measures being put in place at the Westminster crossing include one that's extremely dangerous for cyclists. I understand you intend to proceed as per expert's plan and then make adjustments. However, removing the stop sign on Westminster at Broughton going north is wrong. As a frequent cyclist, I use the path that connects the canal to Brock, then cycle up Brock to Broughton to access Westminster North. Cyclists need that stop sign to safely cross the tracks, or else cars will be driving too fast towards the tracks. Please do not remove the stop. Cyclists will pay the price. Ms. Donnelly, thank you very much for your question. The answer is the level crossing work does indeed remove the stop sign at Westminster and Broughton. It does not remove the crosswalk and flashing lights to signal a pedestrian or a cyclist is crossing the road to drivers. Also, the number of lanes are diminishing in that section. This is a pilot project. If the configurations suggested by the experts do not work, we can always readjust and add the stop sign. Thank you for your question.
Thank you. Next one from Catherine Lunn, 14 Fairfield Crescent.
I would like to know when regular road maintenance is being done. On Fairfield Crescent, for example, there are many crumbling edges on the street, which would be very inexpensive to repair if the maintenance is done now, but expensive to fix later if undone. Is there any plan to patch the crumbling section, and is this work still being done by Montreal-Ouest employees or is contracted out? Sorry, Catherine. So, yeah, usually, pavement and potholes is done by the city employees, whereas sidewalk would be contracted out. To get a little better understanding, I did drive down Fairfield before coming here tonight, and I believe it would fall under pothole repair. So we'll take note of your address and put it on the list. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, two last questions. Les deux dernières questions de Brigitte Savard, 43 Avenue Stratton Nord.
La première question.
Cut them off.
Sorry about that. Am I good? Yeah. Oh, perfect. All right. Last question, or question 1A. Ma voisine a transmis une vidéo à l'hôtel de ville montrant des rats dans la ruelle située derrière les commerces alimentaires sur Westminster, côté est, entre Milner et Curzon. Comment ce problème serait-il réglé 26 au 28 Westminster Nord? It's a comedy of errors now. Bonjour, Madame Rivard. La sécurité publique vous font des inspections, ils vont faire de l'éducation et des amendes seront remises aux propriétaires fautifs. Merci.
OK. Et pour la deuxième partie de la question, ou la deuxième question, 26-28 Westminster Nord, des modifications au projet initial et des dérogations au règlement urbaniste ont été approuvées par le CCU sans que personne ne nous renseigne sur l'existence de ces changements. Je veux souligner l'importance de renseigner les voisins immédiats des projets qui impliquent des dérogations importantes, comme l'ajout d'un balcon donnant sur le jardin adjacent, ce qui ne figurait pas sur le plan initial. Donc, ce dossier date d'avant mon arrivée au CCU. J'aimerais donc prendre le temps de l'examiner afin de pouvoir vous répondre adéquatement. J'ai bien votre adresse courriel et je vous recontacterai dès que j'aurai fait les vérifications nécessaires.
Merci beaucoup. Ceci conclut la période de questions. Merci beaucoup. OK. Maintenant, allons à contrats et greffes. Règlement sur la gestion de contrats. Rapport annuel. C'est moi qui lis ça. Conformément au 7e paragraphe de l'article 573.3.1.2 de la loi sur les villes et les municipalités, un rapport a été déposé résumant les principaux points concernant l'application du règlement municipal sur la gestion de contrats 2025. B. Entente de gestion Bixi Montréal.
Attendu que Bixi Montréal offre des services de gestion de systèmes de vélo en libre service à diverses villes entités dans la province du Québec. Attendu que la Ville de Montréal-Ouest désire acquérir et rendre disponible un système de vélo en libre service sur son territoire par l'ajout de 3 stations en mode prêt. Attendu que la Ville désire confier à Bixi Montréal la gestion dudit système, le territoire de la Ville, et que Bixi Montréal est disposé à en assurer la gestion selon les modalités prévues à l'entente de gestion proposée. Attendu que l'entente proposée prévoit notamment les obligations respectives des parties, le partage des coûts d'exploitation, ainsi que les modalités d'approvisionnement des biens matériels, le tout pour une durée se terminant le 31 décembre 2028. Attendu que le projet d'entente de gestion a été présenté aux membres du conseil qui en ont pris connaissance, je propose, Monsieur le maire, 1. D'approuver le projet d'entente de gestion à intervenir entre la Ville de Montréal-Ouest et Bixi Montréal relativement à la gestion d'un système de vélo en libre service sur le territoire de la Ville. 2. D'autoriser la directrice générale à finaliser l'entente avec Bixi Montréal et à y consentir toute modification accessoire n'altérant pas substantiellement sa portée ou les obligations financières de la Ville. Et 3, d'autoriser M. le maire à signer pour et au nom de la Ville de Montréal-Ouest la dite entente de gestion. Et, finalement, 4, de désigner la directrice générale à titre de représentant de la Ville au sens de l'entente et de la désigner responsable des suivis administratifs découlant de la mise en œuvre de celle-ci.
Je l'appuie.
Tous en faveur, en favor?
Oui.
Merci. C. Avenant, convention de bail, Café Terroné.
Attendu que les parties ont conclu une convention de bail le 28 octobre 2024, autorisée par la résolution numéro 2024-1028-003 du conseil municipal portant sur la location d'un local commercial situé au 220-A avenue Bedbrook à Montréal-Ouest aux fins de l'exploitation d'un café-restaurant. Attendu que les articles 6.5, 6.6 et 6.7 du bail prévoient la mise à la disposition du locataire son usage exclusif d'un espace de stationnement attenant au lieu loué. Attendu que le 10 avril 2026, le locataire a proposé au locataire un ajustement à la convention en cours consistant à substituer à l'espace de stationnement réservé la mise à disposition d'un espace de rangement. En conséquence, Monsieur le maire, je propose 1. D'adopter l'avenant numéro 1 à la convention de bail intervenue entre la ville de Montréal-Ouest et Terronne, 9449-2055 Québec Inc., lequel est substantiellement conforme au projet soumis au conseil municipal, et de 2, que le maire et la directrice générale soient autorisés à signer cette entente au nom de la ville.
Je l'appuie.
Tous en faveur, en favor?
Oui.
Merci. Administration and Finance et approval of disbursement May 23rd to June 26, 2026.
I move that the list, I'm not sure if this one, the list of accounts payable from May 23rd to June 26, 2026, totaling $4,865,168.21, and payroll in the amount of $429,292.77, period 17 to 20, be approved and paid.
I second.
Tous en faveur, en favor?
Oui.
Yes.
B, delegation of powers for the months of May and June 2026.
I move to approve the report of the Director General concerning the exercise of powers delegated under bylaw number 2005 -002 for the month of May and June 2026.
I second the motion.
Tous en faveur, en favor?
Oui.
Yes.
11, Urban Department, A, Site Planning Project and Architectural Integration Programs.
I move 1, to acknowledge receipt of the minutes of a meeting held by the Planning Advisory Committee, PAC, on June 17th, 2026. 2, to approve as presented under the SPAIP the following plans submitted to this meeting in accordance with the recommendations of the PAC as outlined in the minutes. 151 Brock South, replacement of a window by a patio door in the back, as well as the replacement of 5 windows and another patio door. 146 Sheraton, condemn a door on the side of the building and removal of the canopy above, as well as the stairs and landing. 8002 to 8004 Avon, replacement of 2 windows. 190 Sheraton, replacement of 2 windows and the front door.
I support the motion.
Tous en faveur?
Oui.
Aye.
Yeah.
Merci. 12, Travaux publics, adjudication de contrats, travaux arboricoles réguliers.
Attendu que la Ville a lancé une procédure ouverte publiée sur le système électronique d'appel d'offres, SEAO, pour la réalisation des travaux arboricoles réguliers, attendu que la Ville a demandé que 2 prix soient inclus dans les soumissions, soit un prix pour un service complet, option A, et un prix pour un service où les gros bilots seraient laissés sur place, option B. Attendu que 4 documents de procédure ouverte ont été commandés et 2 soumissions ont été reçues et évaluées pour en vérifier la conformité aux conditions du devis. Attendu que la Ville a retenu l'option A à la suite de l'analyse des soumissions reçues. En conséquence, je propose 1. Que le contrat d'1 an pour les travaux arboricoles réguliers soit adjugé à l'entreprise Service d'arbres Primo Incorporé, étant le plus bas soumissionnaire conforme au prix de 141 000 $ avant taxe, basé sur les prix unitaires soumis et les quantités estimatives indiquées au bordereau de soumission, plus une option de renouvellement annuel. 2. Que cette dépense soit imputée au poste budgétaire 02-750-03-419. 3. Que le maire et le greffier soient autorisés à signer tout document contractuel requis pour les fins de la présente résolution selon le cas.
Je l'appuie.
Tous en faveur, en favor?
Oui.
Oui.
Merci. B, adjudication de contrats, travaux arboricoles urgents.
Attendu que la Ville a lancé une procédure ouverte publiée sur le système électronique d'appel d'offres pour la réalisation de travaux arboricoles réguliers, attendu que 3 documents de procédure ouverte ont été commandés et 2 soumissions ont été reçues et évaluées pour en vérifier la conformité et aux conditions du devis. En conséquence, Monsieur le maire, je propose que 1. que le contrat d'1 an pour les travaux arboricoles urgents soit adjugé à l'entreprise Service d'arbres Primo Inc., étant le plus bas soumissionnaire conforme au prix de 20 550 $ avant taxe, basé sur les taux horaires et les quantités estimées, plus 2 options de renouvellement annuel. Que cette dépense soit imputée au poste budgétaire 02-750-03-419 et que 3, que le maire et le greffier soient autorisés à signer tout document contractuel requis pour les fins de la présente résolution selon le cas.
Je l'appuie.
Tous en faveur, en favor?
Oui.
Merci. Ce qui nous amène au point 15, Deposit of Documents. A, Auditor's Report Filling. The financial statements of the fiscal year 2025 were tabled with Council, Councillor Lawrence Small Pennefather. Sum up the main points of this report. Nous en serions maintenant au point numéro 17, seconde période de questions du public, donc à 21h16. Do we have any questions from the floor? No. No questions from the floor. No questions online either. Ce qui nous amène au point donc 18, levée de la séance.
Je propose de lever la séance.
Je le seconde.
Tous en faveur?
Oui.
Favor? Merci beaucoup. Have a good evening. Thank you very much.